G'day guys, Chronicles of Solid here, and welcome back to another installment of Adventure News, where we talk the latest, the greatest, and sometimes the hated adventure and dual sport stories. This month we have spy shots of a possible F900GS, Honda Africa Twin Rally is on the cards, and CCM confirmed the GP600, so let's get into the video. Let's get straight into the news. Spy shots have surfaced of an unidentified BMW. There's no official word on what the bike is, but many are claiming we're looking at a new F800GS. This is no stretch of the imagination, as the F800GS is getting long in the tooth, especially after Honda threw down the gauntlet with the Africa Twin. The timing makes sense as well, with a slew of new middleweights on the horizon, like the T7 and the KTM 800 Adventure. If it is a new F800GS, it looks to be a pretty serious revision of the middleweight. Depending on what source you read, it will either be called the F850GS or the F900GS. I'm partial to the F900GS, but I'd like to know what you guys think. Eagle-eyed journalists have been able to extrapolate a few interesting possible features. Firstly, it has an all-new aluminium frame, and the engine layout has been revised with what looks like a much narrower new motor. The other obvious differences are the exhaust and the final drive are on the opposite sides to the current F800GS, with the exhaust now on the right and the final drive on the left. With these changes, some are saying this new GS will not have the Rotax engine of the current model. Further differences are a new swing arm and subframe. It's speculated that the tank is now at the front of the bike as opposed to the outgoing model's rear tank. Perhaps this will mean a bigger standard tank, but it should be noted that one of the greatest things about the existing model was its balance because of the underseat tank. The headlights are also now LEDs. The final features of note are a tubeless tyre system, ride-by-wire throttle, and finally we have cruise control. The current middleweight GS is loved by many, myself included, and there are a few things that BMW need to get right for this bike to be successful. The first suggestion would be a mild bump in power, just 5 or 10 horsepower or torque. It doesn't need to be much, but it would really help with two-up touring. Second is the suspension. Many people were disappointed at the suspension that came with the F800GS, as it was not quite up to the task off-road, so it would be great to see upgraded suspension on this new model. The bike's weight is also key. It would be smart to at least maintain the current weight or even be lighter. I know that's a bit of a tall order for BMW, but it'd be great to see a slightly lower weight. And the final nitpick was a lack of cruise control, but with ride-by-wire throttle, it's almost a foregone conclusion that the F900GS will have it. Next up is another big adventure bike story. Honda Italy, in partnership with Red Moto, will be offering a very limited number of Africa Twin rallies. The most notable spec is a 7 kg weight loss over the standard thanks to carbon fibre parts, and a 5 horsepower boost thanks to a fancy new exhaust system. The suspension is said to be upgraded as well, along with braided brake lines, an ECU that can be mapped via a mobile app, as well as beefier tyres and a higher front fender. Unfortunately, for anyone wanting one outside of Italy, you're out of luck. Honda has made no signs of releasing this anywhere else for the time being. Perhaps they're waiting to see how the rally sells in Italy, or maybe they're waiting to see how BMW's 1200 GS rally sells worldwide. I'd be interested to know what you guys think and if there is a market for this kind of bike. Sure, a slightly lighter Africa Twin with a few more ponies is always welcome, but you might have to pay a lot for it, and the wide market appeal of a big adventure bike is usually its road comfort combined with mild off-road capability. Removing that road comfort could effectively remove the Africa Twin's duality, which is an adventure bike's biggest strength. Now for something much lighter. In the last installment of Adventure News, I talked about whispers of CCM using the 600cc single out of the Husqvarna TE630 to power a new model of the current GP450. CCM have now confirmed that 450 will be going the way of the Dodo and replaced with the new 600cc unit. CCM claimed that this will see a 15 horsepower gain, an added 10 kilos to the overall weight, and the 5-speed will now be a 6-speed gearbox. That's great news for people who didn't quite like the clunky 5-speed box, but more importantly, this means that we're likely to see a 57 horsepower machine weighing just 135 kilos, roughly the weight of a WR250R, but with double the power in an adventure bike package. This is very tantalising news from CCM. I'm sure a few of you are already screaming, "Shut up and take my money." Those of you in the US might not need to cry yourselves to sleep either, as AdventurePulse.com are saying that CCM are strongly considering a US invasion given the US will be their biggest market. Keep in mind that this is a really small company and opening in a new market is not for the faint-hearted, so it might take some time. CCM are expected to release the GP600 in the 2019 model year, and for those of you playing at home, that now makes this the third donor bike for the 600cc single out of the Husqvarna TE630. So that wraps up this installment of Adventure News. I was hoping that Yamaha would release specs on the T7 at the end of this month, as some articles were reporting, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer. Until then, please leave your comments down in the comment section below, and if I've missed a bike that you'd like to hear about, please leave that in the comments and I'll try and put it in the next video. And until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Chronicles of Solid, and I'll catch you in the next video, guys. See you later.